Hey there everyone, it's Thakard and welcome back to another Survival Fountain of Youth discussion. So this has kind of become like a random thing on the channel that just kind of happened. I was doing perk lists and I was doing, what's my favorite starting 5 perks and doing all these tier things and stuff like that. And I just started having discussions about my opinions with the game. So we are going to continue that, and it might just become a weekly thing. And these are just, like I said, discussions about Survival Fountain of Youth. Now today, we are going to pull from one of my lists. Now, this isn't like a tier listing. This is a list of things that I would like to see changed in the game. Now these are not bugs. These are things that I would like to be changed with items or systems that I don't think are working correctly or should be added. Now, like I said, I'm not going to focus on anything with bugs or stuff like that just because those will all get fixed in time. We're only focusing on my opinion on stuff that needs to be changed or added that affects the gameplay. So we're going to go through 10 of these. I've picked out 10 of them. There are more than 10, and so we might have another list in the future. But first off, I'm going to be talking about upgrading items. Now, I think all items that have a higher tier, an advanced tier, should be upgradable. And when I'm talking about items, I'm not talking about weapons or armor or tools. I'm talking about things like the storage items or the carts. Currently, if you have a small storage box or a storage box made out of twigs and wood, and you can turn it into a leaf box, but then you can't turn the leaf box into the improved box, which doesn't make sense. Same thing for the carts. You can't take any of the basic carts and turn them into the improved carts. This just doesn't make sense in my mind, and I'm assuming this might just be something that was overlooked by the developers, and hopefully they will be able to go in and allow you to just upgrade those, because if you just build like the improved cart, your old cart just sits there for all eternity with no purpose, and that's just a waste. So allow us to upgrade that to the improved version. All right. Number 2 on my list for today, better water storage items, specifically the barrel. The barrel seems like a remnant of the old hollow log rain catcher. There used to be, in the demo, you would used to use a hollow log to make a rain catcher, which was quite nice, and I would actually like to see that brought back. But what we also got was this barrel now in early access. The problem is it only holds 20 sips of water, which is just kind of crazy because you can easily get back there, get to that point, that number of sips with a simple flask. I mean, 15 is what is held in a bamboo flask. So 2 of those and you hold more water than 20 sips worth of a barrel. It's a barrel, for crying out loud. It should hold a lot of water. I would say that the smallest barrel should probably hold the same amount as, say, the largest of the flasks. The largest flask we got right now is a Tegu flask, which you get later on in the game. And it can hold, I think it's 40 sips of water. So if the first barrel was able to hold like 40 sips of water or 50 sips of water, and that would be much more useful, especially when you start to get into situations where you are making things like leather. It takes a lot of water. So we need a barrel that actually can hold a decent amount of water. And it might even be worthwhile making multiple tiers of barrels, all the way from like a 40 sip barrel into like almost like a small water tower, like they would have on the roof of a building that could hold several hundred sips of water. All right, next one on the list, number 3, is changing around the Jaguar potion. Currently, the Jaguar potion gives you 12 hours worth of unlimited stamina. And while that is nice, it is actually not that great. It sounds like it would be a wonderful thing, but you can't run any faster. You can't do, it's just, you can run further, which isn't that big of a deal. When you compare it to things like the Buffalo Potion, which allows you to heal all of your wounds up to like what, level 4, everything except for the fever, I believe, and heal all the way back up to full. Or you have the Snake Potion, which allows you for 24 hours to not worry about food, water, or energy. It just falls completely flat. Outside of using the ones that you find, there is no reason ever to actually make one of these out of the water, the living water. I mean, when you can use living water on the snake or the buffalo push, this isn't even close to being useful. My suggestion to make it useful is to change it from 12 hours worth of unlimited stamina to 12 hours worth of either unlimited weight or 2x carrying weight. That way you could have a situation where, say, you went mining for copper and you mine out a whole bunch of copper, you drink yourself a Jaguar potion, and you can carry 2 times your weight in copper back to camp, or even unlimited weight. The thing that keeps that from being a little too crazy is the fact that it's just for the 12 hours. So I think that would be something that would actually make the Jaguar potion worth making. Okay. Fourth off on the list, we have a redesign of some of the boats. Some of these are cosmetic things, such as the sails on the raft blocking the left part of your screen when you're sailing. It's so bad that you have to go around an island in the clockwise direction, because if you try to go counterclockwise, you cannot see the shore and you're constantly running into things like rocks. Either an option to hide the sail or better positioning for it, different camera angle. I don't know what it is, but you have to be able to see the screen if you're going to be sailing around things like rocks, because you can take damage from said rocks. Second part for this, with the improvement of boats, is specifically right now for the catamaran. The storage locations on the catamaran, they are a little bit rough. They are hard to get to, and you are always kind of balancing on a tightrope, trying not to fall into the ocean as you access these storage locations. And even when you've parked your catamaran at a dock, it is hard to reach these storage locations without like diving into the water, then climbing on the boat right next to them. It's either give us a place to stand down below next to them, or move them somewhere else on the catamaran, because right now they're just very difficult to get to, and it's unfortunate. All right, sip of coffee here. Number 5, I would like to see the improved torches given a specific ability, or the creation of an advanced torch with this ability. And the ability I would like it to have is when it is lit and not currently being held in your hand, it will scare away spiders and scorpions. Because right now, if you have it lit and it's in your hand, spiders and scorpions, they go running. But if it's not in your hands, they will still move around and you can get either bit or stung by the scorpions. The biggest time people will see this is if they're like in the jungle and they are trying to harvest resources from trees. They might have a lit torch, but the critters still find them and still bite them, and you can still get poisoned, which is just annoying. Now, I know there is a potion that will drive them from you, but I do believe that the torch should be able to do this, either the improved torch or an advanced version of that torch. So that would be one of the changes to that. All right, the last of the item changes I want to see is for stumps. Currently, stumps give you half logs, which are pretty much useless, and our only purpose for them is really to toss in a fire, and that just seems like an utter waste of these stumps, which was added to the chopping down of the trees as a new resource you could get. I would suggest changing these stumps from the half logs to actual common logs, which we could then turn into, anything at the workbench. So give us the option to take those, change it from half logs to common logs. That way we can actually use them for, building the house or building a boat or building a storage box, whatever it is. Give us that option. Switch it from half logs to the common logs. All right. The last 4 things here are all about changes I would like to see to systems in the game and not items. So the first 6 were all about items, and these are all about changes to systems. All right, number 7, change item regenning for things like trees. So fruit on trees or resources from trees, stuff like that. I would like to see that changed. Also things like stone, copper, things such as for that nature. I would like to see that based on difficulty. So we will say it takes 30 days for the item to start to regen. Right now you wait 30 days and it has 1 item in there. And it's just getting any items again is just so hard. I would suggest scaling this on difficulty. So if you're playing on very easy, say you have a orange tree and the orange tree takes 30 days to regen the fruit. On very easy, you go back to your orange tree after 30 days and it has regened all of the fruit. They all come back right at the same time. If you are on very hard, only 1 comes back, and it gets scaled through the difficulties on how many items get regened on that node. And you could do the same thing for things like copper. If it takes how long it takes copper to regen, the entire mine comes back if you're on very easy. And if you're on very hard, it comes back 1 piece at a time. Because the people that play on very hard, they want that struggle for resources. That's part of what makes it enjoyable for them. And if you're playing on very easy, those people generally just want to build things and have a pretty smooth time doing it. So I think this would help balance those 2 out. Number 8, this is something that people have talked about, but I want to put my own twist on. Speaking of the different nodes that can be recharged with items, this goes specifically towards plant-based nodes. And this is the creation of fertilizer. Right now we have spoiled food that has no use except for being a fish bait, but there are much better fish baits out there than the spoiled food. You have worms, you have the flowers. There are a lot of things that are better, and you also get to learn a crafted type of lure as well. And so these are all better than the spoiled food. Give us the ability to change spoiled food into fertilizer. And what you can do with the fertilizer, you put it in a bag, right? Allow us to change the spoiled food into fertilizer, and then we can take the fertilizer to, we'll say, that orange tree that had 30 days worth of recharge time on it. If I take a bag of fertilizer to this orange tree and I use the fertilizer when I'm standing at the orange tree, it will cut the regen time from 30 days in half to 15 days. So allow the fertilizer to increase the rate at which plant-based items are regenerated. So things like wood, long sticks, big branches, bark, oranges, breadfruit, anything that is coming from a plant. Allow us to increase that with fertilizer that we can make from spoiled food. And once again, go from the full amount to half of that amount. Okay, number 9. This is something that I've heard some people request for, and I figured it's a pretty decent idea. Provide us a way to reset our perk points. Sometimes, especially when it's your first time playing, you aren't sure how to use your perk points or which perk points are good. And you might be grabbing stuff thinking that they are good, and it just might not be the best thing for you at the time. I would suggest either allowing us to make a potion, which would then allow us to reset our perk points, or giving us some type of mission, that we could complete to reset the perk points, or make it semi-mystical where we have to go to a specific, go to the sacrificial altar on the island of hope, right? And you have to like slice your hand or something, and you take like 20 or 30 or 40 points of hit point damage, and all of a sudden all your perk points are able to be spent over again. You could have some unique things on how to get these perk points back, and I just think it would be a great thing to do. Allow people to, correct what could be mistakes in how they spent those perk points. Last here. All right. Lastly, number 10, final one for our list. Give us additional construction upgrade versions as well as triangular foundations. Currently, the way that construction is done in game is very much like the early days on Ark. And it was fun building an Ark early on, but it was incredibly limited. What changed Ark construction from being fun to being amazing was when they brought in Structures Plus. And Structures Plus was originally just a mod, but then it was actually folded into the game and had the use of things like triangular foundations, or right now we have one type of triangular wall, one type of triangular wall, that 90-degree angle. Unfortunately, you can't flip it. So it's like on my house, I have a giant hole in the wall because while I can turn it different directions, I can't flip it to fill a hole in that wall. Allow us to use these triangular pieces, foundations, and things like that. They will allow for much more in the way of building. And also allow us to have different versions of the construction materials. Right now, it's basically logs that have been turned into a log cabin. But already in the game, we can make planks. We need planks to make things like the catamaran. Well, if we have planks for catamarans and beds and boxes, why can't we make a house out of planks? Which would be make it to where it's better against certain types of conditions. Say it protects more against heat on the hotter islands in the buffalo zone, or cold if there's a cold place. I don't know if there will be a cold place, but give us another option for another version of these construction. I mean, I would say give us maybe even a backwards option that is more leafy. Right now we have the leaf little tent, but it'd be kind of interesting if we could make a leaf building. So give us more options with constructions. I think that probably is something that will be coming in the future, but I'm going to put it on the list because I think that's something that the community as a whole would really enjoy. And I would really, really enjoy triangular foundations. Like I said, we're not going over the bugs. Right now, there's the bug with all the construction of this is supporting an item, and there's not an item it's supporting. I'm not talking about any of that stuff. We're just talking about new options with construction, specifically triangle foundations and different versions of walls and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, those were 10 of the items off of my list. It is a much larger list, and I might just put some more of those out on the channel if people seem to enjoy this content. The way that I do know that you enjoy this content is if you leave your comments down below in the comment section. Tell me about what you want to have added to this game. Systems that you think could be changed, stuff like that. The devs, I know, watch these videos. So, knowing that, leave those things in the comments. Have those opinions seen by the developers. And hopefully they will see some of them. They'll be like, maybe those are good ideas and they might just add them in. Also, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you do enjoy this content, because I am making these because you guys are watching them right now. Showing me that you like this type of stuff is going to keep me making this content, which I think will improve the game overall as well. So thank you guys very much, and I will catch you guys next time. You all have a good week and stay dry on the islands. Bye-bye.